Hello everybody, Ryushikaze, he's blasting us. Welcome to the final plot episode of Timespinner. Last time we ran through the bonus dungeon and also ran through the bonus dungeon on my second save file, and now we're heading back to actually complete the game.
What'd you even sell all that stuff for?
So I could buy a little bit of crap from the crow and get the last couple of bits and bobs. It was really quick, so I left it in.
Sure. So, how does the crow play as a familiar?
Actually not too bad. It's got the standard, standard, like, short-range peck attack, and the long-range attack is just a blast of sand that just does not seek, it just appears. So it's pretty nice.
I see we've changed up our orbs again.
Yep. We're using the nether orbs that I got in the first half of the last episode. And I think I've got, let's see, that's the wind orb as the aura, as the spell. Hi, Captain Lion. So yes, we are fighting the God of Time to become the God of Time.
What? You know, I thought the this is Regicide joke was like supposed to be just this one-off thing, but I think she really thinks that she's being brilliant.
Yeah, no, she's not super clever. Now, one thing I do like is that this boss is a culmination of a bunch of different techniques. I just wish that it did a little more signposting on which boss it was emulating. Because, like, that was the psychic bird technique, and we got a little bit of the crazy person with the light pillars. And this is some Hojo boss bullshit. I don't know what the hell oh yeah, that's from...
Yeah, that's from your fight with the princess.
Yeah. Yeah, we got nether, wind, and gun. I've got the wind up right now because they hit a little faster, or they attack a little faster, so if I whiff, it's not as big a problem as if I whiff with the gun. Oh yes, the Empress Cakes. Heal everything, give you max MP and sand. Yay, we did it! We've totally succeeded, and there's not a Phase 2. Oh look, there's a Phase 2!
Well, of course there's a Phase 2. It's a Metroidvania game.
Yeah, it's a Metroidvania final boss. There's at least a Phase 2. Also, I did not realize it until much later, but you can fall off the platform without worrying. I just didn't want to risk it. Yeah, time stop does not affect this form at all. I honestly think that this looks more like a rat skeleton than a lion or anything.
Yeah,
but
like
that's just me.
The incisors there kind of look more rat-like.
Yeah.
Also, what is this? Like, how did a sand lion thing turn into like this giant skeleton thing?
I mean, that is never explained. Like, it would have been nice to have a, "You fool, I've been nice, now witness my true form," or something. But, yeah, no, it's just...
You know, here's a skeleton.
Yeah.
I guess they had all these ideas, and they kind of just put them in wherever that seemed appropriate.
Yeah. Alright. So, this is the second best ending that we're about to see, now that we've beaten the shit out of time itself. I'm still not sure what the last final boss is supposed to be. I'm guessing it's time itself. Also, we're a god.
Yeah. As you do.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
He did not have time joke?
No, I just had this thought, like there's this cult worshipping, like...
The Eternal Mother?
That's us, isn't it?
Yes. It's always been us. It always will be us. It has always been us. It will have had always been us. But only after we made it so.
Yes, thanks to our efforts, it always had happened.
Yes. And for the record, no, that statue was not there before this scene. Even though it's always been there. So, I guess in this version of the timeline, as the Eternal Mother, we showed up and stopped the conflict.
I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically omnipotent now. We can just kind of do whatever.
Yeah.
We can alter history so that people don't trade in entropy like they trade in cheese fries instead.
I love this fries-based economy. Even though I'm eating myself out of my fortune, I am happy and content.
Like, it seems like such a weird way to end the game. It's just like, you basically become the god of all things. Like, it's just silly. And maybe you sort of still exist? Maybe as a child? You definitely go back in time and make sure that your mom still exists. Now here's a weird question. In this timeline, is your dad the same, and is he also an asshole? Probably not, to either question. Yeah, I mean, you did kind of do the whole regicide thing, so...
Yeah. And here's me taking the other decision at the actual only point in the game where the decision can't be immediately changed back. Where we stop this asshole before the War of the Sisters even begins.
Ah, Mr. Terribleus.
Yes. Seriously, I'm trying to hook you up, hook these other people up. Oh yeah, and by the way, it's regicide.
Oh, come on!
She loves that line. She's been waiting her whole life to say it's regicide. Yeah, so unlike your dad, he uses the other set of 3. So he uses the hammer instead of the sword, he uses the lightning instead of the snakes, and he uses the hammer instead of the blade, the lightning instead of the blades, and he uses the fire orbs instead of the blue.
I see. But otherwise, it's basically the same kind of boss.
Yep. And time breaks, everything goes on as normal. And we cut to... the end, because we didn't need to see all the rest of that. So, remember, this is going off of the one where we stopped the war before it even began. So this is the one where the history is the most changed, actually. And so, as a result of that, we actually get a noticeably different ending that has different scenes. I know. I was surprised, too.
Yeah, it was totally different.
This one, it starts off the same, but we actually do see... In fact, I think even new locations that were not in the rest of the game. Like, right here. Which might have been an area in the castle at some point, but the fact that we're even getting this is pretty good. Also, that happens even if you never even meet the injured dude. Also, even though we erased ourselves from history, we are absolutely still going to get some Nookie. I just want to confirm that.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah. You're omnipotent, do it. Also, literally, Philia has a sprite for this one scene. Which is nice, even though she's like 90% the same as Ilana.
Well,
75.
a lot of the characters do have that same facing orientation. Like, it's like everyone's 45 degrees.
Yeah. It all kind of reminds me of the way that, not exactly like how Mega Man stands, but I just always get like a Mega Man 7 vibe off of their stance. Just because they always have their arms slightly at their sides. And yes, this scene is pretty much the exact same as the other side, but
I'm glad they went through the trouble of designing all these characters who only appear in one scene.
yeah. Like, I especially like that they went through the effort of designing the Queen of the Lakiemi and the child.
I don't think they ever really said why it is that this dragon knows so much.
I think it's supposed to be your avatar. I think that's the implication. And that it's basically a stable time loop. Because fuck you, time travel. And this is just the credits, so we can talk through this, or we can just skip it.
I mean, it is kind of worth like going back and kind of considering, like, you know, what was good about the game, what was bad about the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love the narrative is simple, but it is effective. Like, sometimes it is made of ham, you know, and it's trying to do very delicate things with ham hands.
Yeah,
it's also doing it with a lot of love. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's trying to do all these complicated messages, but it does it in probably the most simple, straightforward, and kind of cheesy way.
Yeah, which isn't necessarily bad. I just wish that some of it had been more peppered, and like instead of like, oh yes, and by the way, he's Polly, and you know, I'm Ace. It just was sort of like a little more casually inserted, which they sort of tried to do, but they were a little too coy at the beginning. I did like a lot of how the upgrades felt, because it feels really satisfying when you get the double jump, and especially when you get the telekinetic dash. But I do wish that there were a little bit more of them, and there was a little more to explore with them.
I also feel like the multiple familiars thing was perhaps not fully well executed. Like, I kind of would have preferred it if you had just stuck with the dragon and been able to unlock different upgrades with it.
Yeah, no, I think that might have been better, because, like, apart from the fact that some of them have, hit different elementals, there's not really much of a difference. Like, the pixie can heal, but it does that very subtly. It's effective, but I didn't even notice it the first time I was doing it. And it's the fire, the wind, the dark. They just hit different elements, and it doesn't seem to do all that much. So it would have been better, I think, for, like, maybe keep with the dragon and then unlock different elements that the dragon does, rather than having all the different, like, looks.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe in the post-game unlock the crow. Because crow.
Right, but I do kind of feel like it's, for an indie project, it's okay, but...
Yeah, no, it's like, as I've said in the thread, it's like 80 to 90% of where I think it should try and be, but it's just not 100% of the way there. Like, it needs a little bit more. It needs to be a little bit longer, have a little bit more in the way of enemy type. Like, the enemy variety that showed up in the pyramid was great.
Oh yeah,
but,
very great.
Yeah, it just needed to happen a bit more elsewhere too. Even if it, the enemies, attack the same, have them look a bit more different than looking like, early version, techno version. Have
like a whole lot less of birds.
Yeah, there was a little bit too much in enemies that were just a different sort of bird. Like, even if you want them to, fulfill the same niche, have them look different. Like, have one be a dragon and have one be, like, because you had the moths, but they barely showed up. They only showed up on, like, 4 screens of the old and 1 screen, I think, of the present. Maybe 2, but yeah. And, do something different with the sirens and the wyverns and whatnot.
Yeah, like bring some more, like if you want to go that direction, like have some more kind of mythological creatures showing up, like griffins, or
like have some enemy griffins, some enemy dragons, maybe even an enemy sprite or 2. Like, don't just have it be stuff that you can use.
Oh.
Like, even have some witches and stuff.
Maybe, like you could have had a boss where he had his own familiar that would keep on dive bombing you.
Yeah, that would have been neat. And you could have had that for all of the humanoid bosses. Or not even all of them, but, like, the magic-using ones. That would be a great way to, like, unlock new abilities for your familiar, other than, just putting them randomly around the map, which I'm not saying don't put them randomly around the map, but you can put some of them around the map and get some of them as boss rewards. And that helps, distinguish things, because, as it stands, most of them are, it also would have been nice to have had, like, an orb or 2 that was an enemy drop, like, straight up just dropped off an enemy rather than, was a boss reward or came in a chest. Or not a chest, but one of those pillars.
So kind of like Ario's Sorrow with all the monster souls?
Yeah. Oh, hey, I know that guy. Yeah, I'm in this list somewhere. Coming up pretty close. No, I was a while back. I used my real name.
Wow, look at all those Ryans.
Yeah.
This is a Ryan-rich list.
It's a conspiracy of Ryans.
And let's see, some other things.
It's also a... Yeah.
I mean, we've gone at length about how like there is potential for more like different time-related abilities. But one thing I was also considering is relating to the leveling system, like for orbs and for magic and such. I kind of felt like it was a little bit too inobtrusive. Like it was just
I'm not even thinking you need to have the damage go up so much as like have the effects change. Like the distance on the blue orb goes up, or the standard hits for the shattered orb gun from long hit multiple times, and its aura blast gets even more shotgunny, or can shotgun from longer range.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that would have been nice. But anyways, thank you all. This has been Timespinner.
All right. See you guys.